The biggest deals, the most secure careers, the highest levels of influence, none of these are achieved alone. The people at the top, the ones who move through industries with ease, have networks so powerful that opportunity flows to them effortlessly. Professional networking isn't an optional skill for the ambitious, it is the foundation for success. The modern economy rewards those who are known, trusted, and remembered. It is not the most talented who rise, nor the hardest workers, but those whose names come up in the right conversations, in the right rooms, at the right time. Employers don't sift through hundreds of resumes to find talent. They hire people they already know. Investors don't fund strangers. They back those introduced by the people whom they trust. And a career built in isolation is fragile. A career built through relationships is untouchable. No one can automate, outsource, or replace a network, and those who cultivate real connections, who understand how power and influence move through social ties, will always have access to better jobs, better deals, and better information than those who do not. So if you want to control your career, if you want to be the one people call with opportunities rather than the one constantly chasing them, then keep watching, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into why networking is the difference between struggling to be noticed and having a career that moves itself forward. Hello, I'm Gene Botkin, and today we'll be talking about the real purpose of networking. Networking is not a transaction. It is not about handing out business cards, sending cold LinkedIn messages, or showing up to awkward industry events hoping for a job offer. People who treat it this way fail because they misunderstand what is actually being built. Relationships are not bought or begged for. Instead, they are cultivated. And those who have real networks, the kind that open doors, bring in clients, and create long term security, approach it differently. They understand that power flows through trust, and trust is built over time. A strong network is not a list of names, but a system of relationships maintained with care, wherein value is exchanged long before it is ever needed. This is how entire careers are shaped. The biggest opportunities are not posted online. They are mentioned over dinner, shared in private conversations, or passed along between those who already know each other. Hiring managers don't waste time sorting through hundreds of applications when a trusted colleague can recommend someone, and investors do not fund business plans from strangers when they can back a founder with whom they have already had drinks. For those who refuse to engage, the result is predictable: stagnation, limited options, and the constant struggle to break through invisible barriers. But those who build the right connections find themselves pulled forward by forces stronger than talent or hard work alone. And this is why networking is not a side activity. It is the hidden architecture of success, the force that determines who rises and who is left behind. And in the next part of this video, I'll explain how you can build a network that works for you, one that ensures you are never without options and never outside the room where decisions are being made. So, we know that a network is not a luxury. It is the foundation of every major career move, every business deal that matters, every leap forward that seems effortless from the outside. The difference between those who are constantly struggling to be seen and those who always seem to be in the right place at the right time is not luck. It is the direct result of relationships that have been built with purpose. First, the biggest opportunities never make it to the public. They are filled before they need to be announced, passed from one trusted connection to another. The executive role, the high paying contract, the inside track on an emerging industry. These are given to people who are already in the conversation. That is how the professional world works. Hiring managers do not post jobs hoping for a flood of resumes from strangers. They ask their network first. Investors do not take blind risks. They look for founders who come recommended by people whom they trust. And even small opportunities, consulting gigs, speaking engagements, and collaborations are given to those who are already known. Without a network, every opportunity is a battle. However, With one, opportunities come looking for you. Those who stay ahead do so because they hear about changes before the rest, industry shifts, new technologies, and emerging trends. These do not arrive as breaking news to people with an excellent network. They circulate in conversations first, long before the public realizes what is happening. So, a strong network provides early access to information that shapes careers. The right mentor, the right colleague, the right casual conversation over coffee can reveal what skills are becoming obsolete, which companies are rising or falling, and what strategies are working now that were not working 6 months ago. A strong network means having access to people who have already been where you are trying to go and who can tell you where the real opportunities lie and what mistakes to avoid. The most valuable professionals, therefore, are not those who have the longest resumes. They are the ones who are well known. A strong network amplifies reputation. It creates an image of competence and authority before a single word is ever spoken. And that is why the most connected people never have to introduce themselves. Their reputation precedes them. They are invited to speak at events, asked for advice, brought into projects because others recognize their value without them having to prove it over and over again. A name that carries weight will open more doors than any degree or credential ever will. Now, industries change, companies fail, economies shift, but those who rely on a single job, a single employer, or a single plan are always one disruption away from crisis, but those with strong networks never start from zero. A well built network means that if one path closes, another is already open. Layoffs become minor setbacks instead of career ending disasters. New opportunities appear faster than the old ones disappear. A connected professional is never truly out of work. There is always another introduction to make, another opportunity waiting to be mentioned. Many of the most life changing moments do not come from carefully laid out plans. They come from chance encounters, from being in the right place at the right time, but only for those who have built the right relationships. And the chance meeting that leads to a business partnership, or the casual introduction that turns into a six-figure deal, the old colleague who unexpectedly reaches out with an offer too good to ignore. None of this happens to those who sit back and hope for opportunities to appear. It happens to those who consistently put themselves in the path of luck, who build connections and maintain them, knowing that even the smallest interactions can lead to something greater down the line. This is why networking is not an extra task to be done when convenient. It is the infrastructure of success. Those who build it well are always moving forward. Those who ignore it are left waiting for opportunities that never come. Now, we'll break down how to network effectively without feeling fake, without wasting time, and without coming across as desperate. Most people fail at networking because they approach it like a transaction. They think it's about collecting contacts, handing out business cards, or sending cold messages with forced enthusiasm. They treat relationships as stepping stones or as tools to be used when convenient. This is why so many people feel uncomfortable with networking. It feels dishonest because they are doing it wrong. Real networking is not about manipulation. It is not about extracting value. It is about building relationships that are mutually beneficial, that grow naturally over time, and that create long term trust. The people who succeed at it do not see it as a chore. They see it as an investment in human capital, an organic part of their career. And the quickest way to ruin a connection is to approach it with neediness. Do not take before you give. Asking for favors before establishing a relationship signals desperation. No one wants to be a stepping stone for someone whom they barely know. The strongest networks are built by offering value first. And those who understand networking do not approach people with requests. They approach with solutions. They introduce people to each other. They share information that might be useful. They help without being asked. This builds goodwill, and goodwill compounds. Over time, it turns into a reputation, one that ensures that when they finally do need something, people are eager to help. Now, the strongest networks are built with purpose. They are not about accumulating the most LinkedIn connections or showing up to random networking events without a strategy. They are about identifying the right people, those who are already where you want to be, those who have influence in your field, and those whose values and ambitions align with your own. Reaching out to the right person is worth more than sending 100 generic messages. A single meaningful relationship is more valuable than 1,000 superficial ones. Quality, not quantity, determines whether a network is actually useful. So, opportunities exist in rooms where serious people gather: conferences, industry meetups, private mastermind groups, and even online communities. These are the places where real conversations happen, not on job boards and not in random social media comments. Those who position themselves in the right spaces, who engage with industry leaders, who contribute meaningfully to discussions, are the ones who get noticed. Presence matters, visibility matters. The people who rise are the ones who consistently put themselves in environments where opportunity naturally circulates. And not only do they put themselves there, but they remain available, because a single interaction is not a relationship. The best networks are built through consistency, checking in, sharing insights, and keeping conversations alive, not when there's something to gain, but as a natural habit. The people who are best at networking never let their connections go cold. They don't wait until they need something to reach out. They stay in touch, even when there is no immediate reason. This keeps relationships warm, ensures that their name remains in the minds of those who matter, and makes future collaborations effortless. So, networking does not produce instant results. It is a long term strategy, one that pays dividends over years and not days. Those who expect immediate returns give up too soon. They dismiss networking as ineffective because they fail to see that it is an investment, one that grows stronger over time. Those who build them well never find themselves struggling for options, and those who ignore them spend their careers trying to catch up. Because networking is the foundation of success. Competence is not, credentials are not, and neither is character. A career built in isolation is a career built on unstable ground. No matter how talented someone is, no matter how hard they work, their success will always be limited if they are unknown, disconnected, and forgotten when important decisions are being made. So, networking is not optional. It is not an occasional activity or a tactic reserved for job seekers. It is the structural foundation of every successful career and the invisible force that determines who gets ahead and who remains stuck. The people who move forward in life do so because they are remembered. They are talked about in the rooms where deals are made, where leadership decisions happen, where power is exchanged. They do not have to struggle to get their foot in the door because they already know the people holding it open. This is how industries actually function. The most valuable opportunities are not handed out randomly. They are passed along networks given to those who are trusted, those who have proven themselves, not just through skill, but through relationships. Networking is what separates those who always seem to have options from those who are constantly searching for their next break. The difference is not intelligence, and the difference is not luck. It is access, and those with strong networks never start from zero, never find themselves completely alone when circumstances shift. They always have someone to call, someone to vouch for them, someone to bring them into the next opportunity before the rest of the world even knows it exists. Building these connections takes time, it takes effort, but once in place, they create a force that moves careers forward with momentum that no amount of solo effort can match. The future belongs to those who understand this, who cultivate relationships not as a short term strategy, but as a lifelong advantage. Those who master networking do not chase opportunities. Opportunities chase them.